Are you a breeder looking to showcase your show pigs? With a Walton Webcasting Show Pig Shoot, we are your go-to video service for capturing the full picture of your show pigs. We specialize in providing top-quality video services for breeders like you. Our skilled video team comes directly to your operation. You talk to pigs, we capture the video. Whether it's baby pigs, boars, gilts, or sows, we ensure that their unique features will shine through. With the power of our website and social media, your professionally recorded videos are streamed live, allowing potential customers from all over the country to view and appreciate the quality of your show pigs. We handle the technicalities so you can focus on what you do best, raising exceptional livestock. To schedule your next show pig shoot, call Rhonda at 765-431-7367. Welcome to the ultimate show on the track. Today we celebrate our premier partners, the driving force behind the livestock industry across the nation. Get ready to witness the power of partnership as our premier partners take to the asphalt. Green light and they're off. On the track we have our first partner, Layered Premium Blend Genetics from premiumblendgenetics.com. Next up, it's Beck's Hybrids from BecksHybrids.com. And here comes Showright from Showright.com. Coming around, we have Brad Howe Ford from BHIFord.com. And here comes First Farmers Bank and Trust from FFBT.com. And rounding out the racers, it's Kennedy Ventures from KennedyVenturesOK.com. On the track and in the ring, it's all about collaboration and teamwork. Join us in honoring our premier partners because together they're the driving force of the livestock industry.
It's time for Cattleman's Congress. This is a Walton Webcasting production. Livestock like you've never seen before.
In just a couple minutes in Arena 1, we will start with our junior show. For those of you just joining us here in the OG&E Coliseum in Arena 1, we are going to get started with your Speckle Park show. We do have a showmanship contest to see first. We are welcoming to the ring your two judges this afternoon, Mr. Tyler Loudon of Creston, Iowa, currently residing in Stillwater, Oklahoma, as well as Cash Lehrman, originally from Spencer, South Dakota. Over here in Arena 2, we are going to get started with the Cattleman's Congress Open Phenotype and Genotype Show, PGS, as some of you may know it. For those of you joining us, we'd like to tell you a little bit about the show happening here in Arena 2. The objective behind the Phenotype and Genotype Show is to create another avenue for exhibitors to show their animals in an additional competitive competition while providing an educational opportunity to learn about the value of expected progeny differences, EPDs, as part of the process in selecting seed stock. Animals entered in the PGS will be evaluated by a judge under a system that requires both genotypes and phenotypes to be considered. The results will be a composite score where the genotype EPD placings and the phenotype placings will be equally weighted at 50%. All animals must have been genomic tested with results prior to the show. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the beginning of our PGS Angus show here at the Cattleman's Congress.
Speckled Park side, and excellent class to start us off. This white heifer's dense made and big backed. I'd like to change the angle of her hock and in her ankle construction just ever so slightly, but as you set her off into motion, she still handles her skeleton well. And
No, they're feminine urges, and the femininity this heifer brings us. I like her feature and her bone size a little bit better, and the depth of her center portion of her rib. I like the way she comes at us and her feature and foot size. This heifer in second, I like her color pattern and the way she's built a little bit better, but I also think that she's lacking a little bit of that, of the true utter dimension and foot size that this heifer in front of us has, and I also think she's lacking a little bit of the growth of that heifer in first. Congrats, first class. Thank you for having us.
Results out of Class 1, April heifer calves. First place was exhibited by Mariana Hernandez with BRF Clarissa 05N. And second place was exhibited by Regina Hernandez with BRF Nevea 06N. Now in the ring is Class 2 March heifers.
Park side, we chose to start with the lighter pigmented heifer. This female's body condition and shape and size is incredible. She's big-footed and stout-featured. If we'd like to change this one anywhere, though, we'd like to make her move a little bit better on out of her hock and out of her hip. She wants to get a little tight and congested on the move. This dark pigmented heifer is real green in her condition and super feminine, but she gets a little frail footed and frail boned. Maybe like to give her a little more depth of body and flank. Her chest sits a little lower in her and it kind of throws her balance off ever so slightly. I'd also like to maybe straighten her up through her hock a little bit, but still a very nice female.
Our speckled, over here in our speckled park side, I really like the femininity and youthful look this heifer gives us and how much power and punch that this one packs through her lower stifle and up through her top and her hip. With that, I'd like to maybe correct her hip shape a little bit. I think it gets a little round and like to loosen her up on those back two wheels ever so slightly. And with that power and punch coming from the main Angie breed, I understand the struggles that comes with getting body and sound and body and sweep and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I got to give this heifer a lot of credit for how much power and muscle she brings us today.
Attractive look's going to win this class. Really appreciate the length and stoutness of hip in this heifer, stoutness of bone and big feet and legs. She still ties high out of the top side of her shoulder. Super feminine, very nice female. I really appreciate the center body and mass and density of this one, but she gives up too much power in terms of her foot size in her leg structure. I'd like to just make her a little bit bigger footed and a little stouter legged.
Well, congratulations in the Speckle Park Ring. Results out of Class 3 and 4. First place in Class 3 exhibited by Trestle Creek Cattle with Trestle Creek Neferetti 60N. And in our final class will be first place. We'll go to Brindley Sonnentag with Greenwood Forever Lady 29N. And second place also goes to Trestle Creek Cattle. We're now going to bring in
here for our division here, and I think we have 4 really nice individuals, and we're just going to go over them real fast because we're very grateful for this opportunity, and we're just going to tell you what we see out of these animals. I really like this youthful little heifer. I think she gives you a really nice look from the side, and I think she brings a lot of presence and some qualities that we really enjoy when it comes to making females, and especially in this breed. I like her feature and her bone work and how much body she brings at this young age. Maybe she doesn't bring as much to the table when it comes to the groceries and exactly what we're talking about with the rest of these, but at the same time, I really like that female. This little bit lighter colored one here, I really like how smooth she is. The presentation on her is incredible. I think that she brings an adequate amount of footwork and the bone and feature that she comes at us with, but while at the same time bringing us the most amount of body and center portion of rib in this lineup out here. I really like that female young man. This heifer right here, bold, robust, and an absolute beef builder. This thing is blown open, big hipped, huge topped, and at the same time kind of comes along with some of those qualities. I think that she's packing just a little bit of chest. She doesn't quite have the body in the center mass, and I also think she gives up a little bit of work when it comes to her feet and hind legs. And then the round out, I really like the color pattern of this female right here. I think she is really good. This is the biggest footed and yet soundest moving animal that brings that combination together. I think she has plenty of power. I think she's blown open and still has some of the extras that we talk about when we come out here and are presenting these animals. We're going to come out here and we're going to show you the 2 that we like, and thank you.
Ring Your champion in that division, exhibited by Brindley Sonnentag with Hay Creek Nova B07N. And reserve champion will also go to Brindley with Greenwood Forever Lady 29N. We're now welcoming in our final class of yearlings.
And use this white heifer to win this division. This is a heifer that does a lot of things right. When you set her in motion, she handles her hip and her hind leg and her spine very well. She's got good depth of center body and forerib. You step behind her, she's pulled apart and square built all the way down to the ground. If I'd like to change this one though, I'd like to tuck her up a little bit in her chest and make her a little bit more attractive up through her jawline. And this predominantly black heifer, she just gets a little tubular in her body type and wants to roll her hip a little bit on the move, but still a very well constructed female in her through her front 1/3 and down to the ground. I like the angle of her hock and the way she uses her pasterns. I just like to make her be a little leveler hipped and not so tubular in her body.
This ring results out of
wonderful Speckled Park show today, and I think we have two individuals and make it four that add up perfectly in between pigment and the way they're built. I think up here on the front line, we have two individuals that just sit together perfectly. I think they're big-bodied, big-centered, still have the right pieces, are able to get functional and get around the ring with ease, and I think it just comes down to a point of what matters more to you. Functionality, I understand that this little heifer that we have right here, she is smoother made. I also think she's carrying a little bit more condition and doesn't exactly handle her hind legs the best, but at the same time, I think it's plenty good enough. And then we get into this big heifer. I think that she puts a lot together. I also think that she's carrying just a little bit more condition, but she should at that age. And I think it comes down to this pair of white ones that we got up here, and we'll come up here and show you what we're thinking of right now. And thank you guys for staying with us.
Here in the Speckle Park ring to conclude the junior show, your champion was exhibited by Graham Creek Ranch with Graham Creek Magma 24M. Reserve champion exhibited by Brindley Sonnentag with Hay Creek Nova B07N.
In the bull show on the Speckle Park side, we start with a very stout made dark pigmented bull. This one's super elevated up through his front 1/3. He's smooth shouldered and good bodied. He's level out of his hip, and the angle of his hock and his pastern is correct. If I'd like to change this one up anywhere, I'd like to maybe make him a little cleaner through his sheath, maybe drop him down in his forerib just ever so slightly. The lighter pigmented bull is another good, attractive made bull. just gets a little round out of his hip and maybe sacrifices too much muscle and the same softness of body as our class winner.
I think we have a very pleasant surprise here with the darker pigmented bull. I think this bull does a lot right. I think he's extra good looking. He reads really good. He ties really high to the top side of his neck. At the same time, he brings us the power and dimension as you want in a bull and a breeding piece like that, along with the center rib and forerib to kind of go with that and balance himself out. Along with that, using his hind leg and his structural correctness incredibly well when he gets around the ring, while also bringing us a powerful package. That's a really nice bull, young lady. Young man, I really like your bull here that you got. I think he brings some good to the table. I think this is an easy feeding, good fleshing bull with a lot of good pieces. He's good into the center part of his rib, and he's really good looking, but at the same time, I think his bone work and his feature needs a little bit more there, and needs to get a booster shot, so to say. Along with that, I think he needs a little bit more muscle on the top side of his hip through his hock, and that's a nice bull, young man, to round out this class.
Angus results of our two classes of bulls. First place in class 9, exhibited by Trestle Creek Cattle with RHTCC Nelson 508N. Second place was exhibited by Retley Cookson. And in class 10, first place exhibited by Brindley Sonnentag. Second place was exhibited by Rexton Myers.
as we get out here into our grand bull drive on the Speckle Park side. We're not going to talk these. I think we went in depth enough in class on them, but there is two of them that rise to the top pretty easily for us, and ones that we feel pretty comfortable using. Before we go out and pick your grand in reserve, though, I'd like to thank Brad and Eric and the rest of the association for inviting me and Tyler out here to sort through your show today and work with your juniors. I'd also like to thank my mom and dad and the rest of the crew for holding stuff down back home. It's a busy time of the year as we're getting ready to picture this week for our bull sale and start calving, and it's just, I appreciate them letting me take this opportunity and slip away for a few days and come down here and sort your show. But Tyler? Well, with that being said, we're going to go get you a grand in reserve.
Exhibited by Brindley Sonnentag over here in the Speckle Park ring. Reserve champion goes to Trestle Creek Cattle. That does conclude our junior Speckle Park show. We're now going to go right into the open show. We're going to welcome to the ring our judge today, Mr. Tim Anderson of Bridgewater, South Dakota.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the invite to judge this open show. It's something that I've been looking forward to for quite some time now, and we've started the show off with an awesome way. We've come in with the first calf in the ring is one that certainly impressed me. This one comes with an extra shot of presence and a little more of an elite phenotype and structural design. This one kind of struts with a little extra upheadedness, a little extra maternal value, and a little longevity built into the skeleton of this one. She certainly doesn't disappoint. She gets out here and flexes off all four ends. She comes with a nice maternal sweep to her underline and presents with an awesome feminine look up-headed, and that's one that looks like she's going to make an awesome cow down the road. The second pair is where probably there's some more debate. These two come with a little bit more shape, probably, a little bit more condition right now, and probably come with just maybe a little bit more base width. But they struggle in terms of the structural design. I think that they're a couple that probably just need to be a little bit looser in their spine, a little bit better in their hind leg. Yet the one with the darker spotted, I think that this one just comes a little bit more maternal in her look, a little bit more smoother in her muscle pattern, and a little bit smoother in the way that she ties into her shoulder. The young lady that's going to come out here with the least pigmented female of the class, that's one that certainly offers a lot in terms of bone and foot size. She's probably the most expressive when you get behind her, but I just get to struggle struggling with the way that she kind of gets out here and moves. I wish that this one was just a little bit more flexible. And at this age, I think that there's just, some things that we get to querying a little bit about the longevity of that one in her build. But a really nice way to start the Speckle Park show. I'm looking forward to an awesome show of females.
Ring results on a Class 12. First place exhibited by Mariana Hernandez with BRF Kona 10N. Second place in that class will go to Regina Hernandez. And third place also to Mariana Hernandez. Now in the ring we have Class 13 March Heifers.
Over here on the Speckle Park side, we've got two different types of females for sure. We're going to opt for one that just comes with a lot more shape, a lot more turn to her rib cage, a lot more maternal underline, and just a lot more density to her. This one probably you could argue that this one needs to be just a little bit cleaner and a little bit more feminine about her head and neck. But I'll tell you what, from her shoulder back, this is one that's hard to deny that there's plenty of quality and plenty of future. This one just looks like a brood cow in the making, and one that's going to raise herd bulls and females that go out there and are productive and make plenty of ROI for her owners down the road. This one just screams cow power and donor to me. She gets out here and just moves with ease, and for as bold and as massive as this one's body cavity is, she just comes out here and is still quite so flexible. And if we're just going to sort them on flexibility, that's easily an advantage to the white point female. When we get here into the speckle female, I just wish that we could make this one a little bit more fluid. I'll tell you what, this one paints a striking look from the side. She is probably a little higher tying and a little bit more feminine about the way she ties into her neck and throat latch. But from there back, this one just needs to get looser all the way through. She needs to be a little looser on her hind leg. She needs to have a little more slope to her knee and shoulder, but I'll tell you what, that one does give it awesome look from the side. Nice class. I really like the maternal look of the female that wins. pair over here in our Speckle Park show. I'm going to opt for the one that comes with just a little bit more to her. I think from a structural standpoint, if you're comparing them on the move from the side, there's probably a lot of similarities. I think there's a lot of similarities between a lot of these cattle, probably as close as we've had today in this show. But I'll tell you what, this black one just comes in a little bit bolder and a little bit wider stance. She probably moves with the same level of comfort from the side, but she comes a little square in the way that her tail head lays into her. She comes a little cleaner in her chest floor, and she comes a little bolder in her rib shape and her cage shape. That one just, I think that these cattle are quite similar, but she just comes with a little bit extra muscle and a little bit more product and just a little bit more shape, and does so in a similar look and kind. I'll grant that this white female probably does come with just a little bit more striking look. She is a little more chiseled about the way her jowl lays into her, but from there on she gets just a little bit less genuine in her build. She's a little bit more, a little narrower at the ground, and one that just gets a little more flat in the way that her rib cage is built, but a nice pair that I think are close, and just going to opt for shape and a little bit more dimension in the black-hided female, but nice pair.
That last class, class 14, first place and second place both to Trestle Creek Cattle. Now the ring is class 15 before we select our champion reserve heifers.
Certainly some decisions to be made here over on the Speckle Park ring. I'm just going to opt for the one that I think is built better, the one that comes with more maternal value, and the one that looks like she's got a little more longevity built into her skeleton. I'm going to grant that this one probably doesn't have the weight per day of age of the other one. She may not have the performance, she may not have the bone size, but those bones are just built better. She's built with more flexibility off either end of her skeleton. She's a lot smoother in the way that her shoulder ties into her. She's built leveler and square out of her pin set, and just balances and comes with so much more symmetry and look and maternal. I love the way her head is shaped. I love the way that she looks so maternal and so cowy from the side. This one just kind of looks like what a female should look like. There's a lot of quality to this female that's going to go second, and I can see how people could sort it the other way, but for me, I just wish that this one was built better. I wish that she had more flex and just a little bit more comfortability about the way that her hind leg is built. I wish that she was a little cleaner in the way that her crest ties into her head. I wish that she was just a little bit more feminine from the side. This one this one has an awesome power cow look. She comes probably with just a little bit more shape and dimension, obviously a little bit more weight per day of age, but I just think that from a longevity standpoint, there's definitely some advantages to the young ladies female that's going to win that class. The young man definitely came up against two cannons in this class. His cattle just need to be built just a little bit square and a little bit more attractive from the side. I wish that female just tied a little bit better into her tail head. I wish that one maybe just had a little bit more growth to run against the two big broody cow prospects that we found on the top of the class. But a nice trio of females, awesome pair on top, and I appreciate the difference and getting to sort a nice pair like that. So look forward to seeing them two out here for our division. Got an awesome division here in the Speckle Park show, and I'll tell you what, from the time that the first female that wins our first class walked in the ring, she was the first one in, knew it was game on. That female comes with, a world of intrigue and presence. There looks like to be a big-time prospect, that one that a year down the road, that one's going to come back and be an intriguing breeding piece, I think. She just is built with a little bit more presence, a little, higher ear set, a little higher tying out of her neck, and the way that it all kind of blends back into her body cavity. She's so balanced from the side. For me, she gets back out here. I get to questioning the way that her hind leg is built just a little bit. Standing there, you question it. I wish that she just would flex with just a little bit more comfortability, maybe. I'm assuming this is probably the first time for this one out in the show ring, and so I know that them cattle get stoved up just a little bit more, a little less comfortable on the move. But that is something that I notice out here, and but that's one that certainly is in contention here. I just love the balance and the profile and symmetry that female paints. She's got an awesome big future. We move back here to our second class winner, and that's one that is undeniable in terms of brood cow presence. This one just comes with extra shape and boldness all the way through her skeleton. With that, she does come with a little plainer look. She does come with just a little less feminine and chiselness to the way her front end ties into her. But at the same time, you got to grant that this one comes with just as much maternal swoop to her underline, as much body cavity boldness, and as much dimension and just sheer maternal shape as anything we have out here in the lineup. And that's one that just looks like she's going to be a brood cow in the making. With that, I can see that there's perhaps some things otherwise set up that's just not ideal. I think that one gets just a little bit bigger teated. I know she's got a couple extra teats there at the back, but I'll tell you what, that one's hard to deny that there's a big future in production for that one. The young man comes out here out of our third class, and one that gives a striking look from the side. She's a little longer spined. She's square in the way she ties into her tail, her tail head. We could probably make this one just a little deeper and maternal in her underline. I wish that she just had a little more springer rib and a little softer look from the side. I wish that we could grant this one just a little more flex to her knee and the way that her shoulder is designed, but certainly one that gives an awesome look from the profile and is built with extra width and dimension, and that's what made her win that class. The young lady comes out here out of the fourth class, and this one just ties it all together. I don't know if this one is as striking as perhaps some of the other ones, or as bold and as burly and as big turn to her rib cage, but I'll tell you what, she ties it all together just so correct. She paints a nice look from the side. She's got plenty of shape. She's built good. This one could maybe just get a little bit more flexible at the ground from me, just a little bit. I wish that her hock was just a little more attractive from the side, but I'll tell you what, that's one that just ties it all together and is really hard to fault. Nice division. There's certainly some decisions to be made on kind of my priorities. I'm going to go out here and get you a champion and a reserve, but certainly impressed with the lineup that these young people have brought. Congratulations to you guys. It's been a fun division to sort. Park side of the ring. But I'll tell you what, the young man brings one that just a couple weeks away from calving, and this looks like the type that the breed is probably striving to make. This one comes with just a shot more moderation. She's a ground power in her body style. She's so burly and big ribbed and soft looking and low input kind, but at the same time looks like one that comes with just all the extras in terms of muscle shape and density. I think this one from a carcass standpoint looks to me like she'd offer some ribeye and some quality that way. This one just screams and looks like the one that the young man's going to be excited to get into production. We could make this one just probably a little more attractive about the way she ties. She could probably paint just a little more presence and up-tying look from the side, but it's hard to that there is a lot of potential about this one as a cow out in production, and so nice single entry. Looking forward to her getting a little competition. She can surely stand it. they came in, and this one probably is the flattest haired, but I tell you what, she doesn't need any of the extra bells and whistles to make this one stand out. She just screams completeness and longevity and cow power. If we're going to sort them on longevity, which is kind of how I've been trying to opt for all day if I can, this one is the epitome of that in this class, and she still comes with a little extra scale, a little extra size, a little more extra horsepower. She comes with probably the most ideal setup in her underline. She's just as balanced and as eye appealing from the side, yet she comes with a big hip and pin set. She comes level in her spine and just so comfortable in the way that she moves. She's got plenty of slope to the way that her knee is designed. And the same reads on her hind end. That one sets down to the ground with a nice soft, comfortable foot. Easy class winner for me. I just really appreciate the completeness and overall the way that this one ties it all together. No hulls female that reads with plenty of longevity. The decisions for me kind of in second and third, and I'm just going to opt for the one that comes out here and travels with just a little bit more comfortability. She's just designed a little better from a structural standpoint. She probably is a little leaner in her condition than the female that's going to be third, and so that I grant her probably a little more acceptability in the way that her underline is designed. I probably wish she was just a little deeper and a little more cowy that way, but from the way that she gets out here and can kind of move and flex, the way that she can tie herself together and paint a nice picture from the side, she's got plenty of advantages. She also does come with a nicer teat and udder setup and just looks like the kind that's going to mature and keep headed in the right direction. The young lady that's going to be third, I'll tell you what, this one probably is as deep and as soggy in her body cavity, but I just wish that her hind leg was built better. I wish that she had a little more of an attractive and usable hind leg. At the same time, I wish that this one's teat size was just a little more delicate. I think that she looks like she's kind of going to develop into a cow that has maybe some issues down the road getting a calf onto that one. But I'll tell you what, that is a cow that comes with plenty of maternal rib shape and cage. There's plenty of value to that one. And the man that comes here that's going to round out the class just kind of gets outclassed in terms of a look, design, and balance standpoint. This one just comes a little bit coarser in her muscle shape. She comes a little less ideal in the way that her hind leg flexes out of her hip. And I wish that this one just was a little more symmetrical and maternally designed from the side. Awesome class. I really appreciate the young people's cow prospects here. Looks like the breed is in an exciting place going forward. Vision over here in the bred heifers over in the Speckle pot. A female that comes super genuine in the way that she's been maintained. She looks like she is set up for an awesome career in production. She comes with a really nice udder setup. She projects like the kind of female that's going to be low input and high output. She's square and level in the way that her hip and hind leg is designed. She comes out here floats with comfortability and still paints an awesome, cool maternal look from the side. A great cow prospect that's going to be fun to get back out here for this division. Certainly a nice female with a world of future ahead. Vision of bred females over here in the Speckle Park show. I'll tell you what, I'd encourage all the exhibitors that we've had to bring all them heifer calves out here to follow along with the project, keep it up, and bring these cattle back here. These cattle just project to keep getting better and better, and it's been fun. You know, just a small representation of what these females can look like as they approach calving. But like I said, I'd encourage you to follow on with the project and get them to this point, because this is what it's all about, particularly in a breed that prides itself on such strong maternal value. And for me, that's how I got to sorting this division. It's maternal value that's going to help me pick my winners. The young man that comes out of that first class, this one probably is as bold and as shapely and as stout featured as anything in this division. But with that kind of comes with some disadvantages in the way that is built and put together. This one probably gets a little more vertical off her front end and comes with not just quite as much comfortability in the way that she motors off her hind leg. I wish that she was a little more smooth and a little more complete in the way that her spine ties into her hip. But that's one, and at the same time, one that I think we could just clean up about her crest and the way that her head ties into her shoulder. I'm going to grant that one looks like an awesome brood cow going forward. What's the longevity? That's the question for me. The young lady out of the second class, one that's just super complete from every angle. This one doesn't need the extras in terms of hair coat or presentation, but I'll tell you what, she's just comes in a big scaled power package, but comes out here in motors and just paints an awesome picture from the side, super balanced and super complete. The young lady out of that third class that was also a single entry with the wider female. This one, I love how square and maternal and just complete this one is. She comes out here probably the most lean in her body condition, but at the same time, I think that's one that's super soft in her body cavity. I love the way how deep and swoopy her underline is, and one that comes out here and motors square and stays true. In terms of body condition, I still think that one's got plenty of power and width to her. She's built square at the ground and wide in her base. She just doesn't have the extra groceries that perhaps paint the picture of power that some of these other ones in the division have. I'm going to go get you a pair. Nice division. All four of these exhibitors from our bred show. Congratulations on an awesome job. I think you've got your hands on some exciting breeding pieces moving forward.
Well, congratulations. Your champion yearling heifer exhibited by Allie Wright with cross WJC01M. And congratulations to Regina Hernandez with Morningstar Margarita 7M for reserve champion. We'll now bring in the heifer calves as well as the yearlings, and we'll select a grand champion female.
for the exhibitors of these females. What an awesome female show we had over here. I think as breeders, you should be very proud of kind of the direction that these Speckle Park females are headed. I know across the world, their industry acceptance keeps growing, and it's not just as cow prospects and what they're doing in the pasture, but the way that these cattle hang and on the rail. I know that they offer quality right the way across the spectrum, and are adding profitability to our Cattleman's program from every different angle. And I think it's obvious out here that these cattle can be and continue to be built with a strong maternal presence and quality that's going to last a lifetime. And they're females that just are built right from the ground and come with, some extras in terms of udder quality, easy fleshing ability, softness, look, and longevity. And so I think that's something you should be very proud of and keep heading towards, because there's certainly a spot. There's definitely no lack of identifiable characteristics about this breed. It's something that you should keep using as a marketability tool heading forward, and keep doing your thing, making these cattle better, because there is a time where there will be people looking for this type of stock going forward that offer value right the way across the board. For me, this has been a really nice female show. There's certainly been some that have stood out from the get-go the moment they walk in the ring. I've really appreciated the opportunity to kind of come and nitpick on some things. For me, I've just tried to use balance, longevity, completeness as some of the things that determine the direction I'm headed. And as I just think that sometimes staying in the middle of the road and keeping cattle built good for the future is the way to access the most profitability. We don't need to be outliers in a certain area or head down, a freak show type of direction. I think just keep on building these cattle that work for a long time and have a high output is the way to keep rolling. So congratulations. I think I'm quite proud of the pair I'm going to use here. Looking forward to a strong bull show. Once again, let's put our hands together for the exhibitors. It's been a fun one to sort.
Champion heifer exhibited by Allie Wright with Cross WJC01M. Reserve champion will go to Trestle Creek Cattle with Trestle Creek Notable 54N. We'll now get started with the bull show. We'll look to see Class 22. With a young April calf, but one that looks like he's got plenty of promise and future to him. His pulled apart in the way that his cage is designed, he's wide and square at the ground, and looks like he's maturing and going to keep maturing with some quality and some substance and some mass. Nice testicular development, clean sheathed, and got some maturity about his head and the way that his crest lies into him. I think that we could probably soften this bull just a little bit on the way he hits the ground off
off either end. I wish that he would probably just set with a little more comfortability with his pastern, just a little bit more set there, particularly at this young of an age, but one that looks like he's going to keep maturing with plenty of power and volume and masculinity. Nice way to start out the bull show. I think that he'll stand his ground against some of these bigger ones as we get him out here.
Two exhibited by Tina Williams. That was Treble Novel Gas TM4N.
Just a late March bull calf here, but one that's built plenty soft and smooth in the way he's designed. I really appreciate how neatly laid in his shoulder is, the way that he's hit the slope to his knee, and the way that his that his shoulder ties into his body cavity. He transitions so smoothly into a nice level top line and deep underline. And this one, he's so smooth in his muscle pattern. In the same sentence, you could probably debate that this one needs to be just a little bit stouter in the way that he's designed. He probably could come with just a little bit more muscle shape, but certainly to me projects to be like the Cavingese type of sire that's going to add some maternal to a cow herd's bottom line. So certainly looks like one that has value, just one that needs to be projected for a certain objective. So a nice bull calf. He's just into the March class, but one that represents his division strongly. So a nice way to do these March bull calves. probably a decision that's easy to debate, but for me, when I'm going to keep the theme of longevity, there is no doubt that the bull that's going to win the class is the one that comes with the most to offer that way. You know, I'll grant that he probably isn't just as massive and burly and as masculine as the man that the calf that's going to be second in this class, but this one comes a little more genuine in his condition and just motors with so much more flexibility, so much more look, and so much value to me. You know, I hope stockmen all year long find bulls to buy, and for me, that bull just looks like he's going to go out and serve a stockman for quite a bit more longer, and still offers plenty of value from a multi-use, versatile standpoint. Obviously an impressive creature that comes here in second, but for me, this one just needs to be way better in the way that he's designed. He needs to flex and reach with a lot more longevity and comfort. I wish that he could just get out here and move. There's no question that he probably has more weight per day of age, a little more masculinity, but for me, just not built good enough to use today, and have enough faith in the fact that that one's going to go out and serve for a long time and add value to a rancher's bottom line. Certainly one, though, that I understand from a shape, carcass, and muscle standpoint has some advantages. The young lady that's going to be third in this class just comes up against two bull calves that have quite a bit more weight per day of age, quite a bit more shape and substance. This one is long-spined and long-hipped and comes out here and motors with comfort. He just needs to have a little bit more performance, a little extra stoutness to really offer a stockman some value as a true breeding bull, regardless of whether it's seed stock or commercial setting. So one that I think will probably go out and serve a long time. I just think he could come with some extras to really offer a lot of extra profitability. Nice pair on the top. Decisions had to be made, but I'm just going to offer the one that I think has a little bit more value going forward and length to his breeding tenure.
Congratulations in Class 24. First place exhibited by Trestle Creek Cattle with RHTCC Nelson 508N. Second place go to Anthony Wilcox. In third place exhibited by Tiffany Myers. We'll now welcome in Class 25.
young lady brings us the kind we've been looking for. This one just ties it all together in a super complete package. Has enough of just everything for me. I love the way he comes out here and motors with ease and paints a nice, cool picture from the side, but you get behind him or you truly view him from just about any angle, and he still comes with some curvature and some shape and expression to his muscle pattern. He offers, obviously the advantages of weight per day of age in this class, the advantages of masculinity, length of spine, ease of foot shape, and just comfort on the move, yet still projects like the kind that can make females that have plenty of longevity and good doability about them. Really like the way that how complete that bull calf is. The young man that's going to be second in this class just kind of lacks all the extras that the one that's going to win does. I wish that this one was just a little longer in his spine, a little burlier in his muscle pattern, added some extra weight per day of age. Certainly one that looks cool and has a nice shoulder design, a calving ease option. It looks to me one that definitely has some value, just doesn't have all the extras of the young lady that's going to win the class. Nice bulls.
Class 25, first place exhibited by Brindley Sonnentag. Second place will go to Dustin Myers. We're now going to welcome in those first and seconds. So we'll select the champion reserve calf.
Here, let's put our hands together for these exhibitors. I think the future of all four of our class winners here is bright. They're kind of all built with a similar structural design that looks like it's going to keep going for an extended breeding tenure. There's no secret that longevity is the driver of profitability in this business, and so those are the factors that I use in my decisions, and my selection criteria is heavily weighted towards structural design, and then I'll start to get into adding the extras in terms of muscle shape and weight per day of age, etc., etc. For me, there's a pair of bulls out here that tie together really well. They're both super complete, but have some of the extras in terms of the weight per day of age, the rib shape, the muscle shape, the width, and the dimension, but still look like they've got plenty of future for their prospective buyers or breeders going forward, and at the same time as adding some carcass attributes, still offer plenty of versatility from a female generation standpoint. So nice pair that I'm going to use here. Very proud of the two that will represent this division in our Grand Drive.
Champion calf exhibited by Brindley Sonnentag, and reserve champion will go to Trestle Creek Cattle. We're now going to welcome in class 27.
decision for me because I think both of these cattle have some issues, but also at the same time offer different advantages. The young lady with the darker tinted bull is going to win this class. This one, standing still, I'm not probably a big fan of the way he's built, but at the same time, this one does move with more comfort and more flexibility. It's a little misleading to me, standing still there, I probably could get to hammering on the way that this bull's built, but I will be honest, he gets out here and reaches better. He gets out here and moves with more comfort and flexibility, and he is considerably more shapely. He's considerably wider pinned. He's more burly, and I probably prefer the moderation pattern of that bull just a little bit over this lighter bull. He just comes a little burlier and more masculine in his look. The young lady that's going to have our second in this class, this bull gets out here and just doesn't really want to flex. I'm not sure if it's an issue spine-wise or in his hip, but he just doesn't come out here and hit his stride. He plants probably, with a bit more ideal and more attractive look, but, these bulls are going out to breed cows and work, and they're going to be on the move, and that's where we're going to start judging them. This one probably could come with just a little bit more volume and capacity and outward shape instead of upward shape here. He probably is a little longer spined, but just not quite as explosive and wide in his muscle design. So pair of bulls that were difficult for me, just opted for the one that gets out here and moves a little bit better and comes with more muscle shape.
'27, we're going to give the first placing to Kristen Elliott, and second placing would go to Cade Scheller. We're now going to welcome in our final class of Speckle Park Bulls.
Goals. He looks like a female generator to me in terms of his soft body cavity and easy keeping look. He's so complete in the way he's designed and so smooth and elegant, and but at the same time packs a punch where you want him to. He's wide at his base. He's good and square-footed. Comes out here and floats around the ring with a nice long and just correct look. Hard to really put a hole in a calf like this that's really matured with what to me looks like a good graph of weight per day of age and performance. Really hard for me to put a hole in this one. Certainly a very competitive entry.
Final class of Speckle Park's first place go to Allie Wright with Cross W Money 03M. We'll now bring in those yearling bulls and select a champion reserve in this division. Following this, we'll bring in the calves and select a grand and reserve grand champion Speckle Park bull.
of mature bulls here in the Speckle Park show, and they certainly exhibit some of the attributes that this breed is becoming known for. These cattle are built with a good amount of muscle, but at the same time project to generate females that are going to have a long and extended breeding tenure. These are cattle that offer versatility, not just from a phenotype standpoint, but from a carcass standpoint as well. There's plenty of value to stockmen, and so I think they make a great option for those that are looking for a whole herd improvement. For me, there's a bull out here that just puts it all together in the best package. He's super complete. There's no junctions in terms of getting out here and moving with comfort, but he also probably has the most impressive maturity pattern, the most impressive muscle pattern, and just ties it all together for me and is an undeniable winner. So we'll go get you a champion, and we'll get back out here for our grand overall drive.
A yearling Speckle Park Bull exhibited by Allie Wright, reserve champion. We'll go to Kristen Elliott. We're now going to welcome in those division champion reserves and select a grand and reserve grand champion Speckle Park Bull.
really enjoyed getting the chance to evaluate this Speckle Park show, and I'd like to thank everyone that's made it the opportunity possible. For Eric and Brad, when they reached out to me this fall or this summer, I was honored, and since then I've been looking forward to the opportunity. I grew up in Australia. I'll be the first to admit I grew up in the city. Didn't really have any ties to agriculture at all, other than my high school ag program. Through that, I got to go to a couple cattle shows and some cattle events, and that's when the popularity of this breed was really starting to take off in Australia. And I'm sure that the breeders know that there's definitely been a real commercial acceptance of that breed, and from a breeder's standpoint in that country. And I think that there's a lot to be said about that, because this is a breed that, within the last 15 years has really made some steps and some developments, because they have a lot to offer the commercial sector. And I think that's been obvious through the cattle that have been brought here today. The females were built with longevity and maternal and good udder quality. These bulls have come with some extra shape, but don't look like the type that are going to push the boundaries in terms of, being too heavy muscled or sacrifice quality, and I just think are very versatile pieces that stockmen could come and appreciate and really find a way to inject into a cow herd for whole herd improvements. With that said, coming back to my Australia part of the story, I just like to encourage all the young people that were out there today to take hold of the opportunities that this business gives us. We might be out here just leading these cattle around and talking with other breeders, but you never know what those opportunities could turn into down the road. These cattle are just a vector for development and growth, and obviously we're out here presenting these cattle, and there's probably some people that might be disappointed with the way that their cattle went out here. It's just my opinion. I've tried to stay in the middle of the line. Tried to find cattle that I think have no holes, are super complete, and just will inject some profitability and some longevity into a cow herd. Serving herd bulls that are going to come out there and last year, no stockman in the business is going to be able to make that work, especially with the added value that these bulls and these seed stock cattle are bringing. I think we need to put our hands together for these exhibitors. It's been an awesome show, and I truly am very humbled by the opportunity to come out here and sort the cattle for you. I'm going to go out here and pick a bull that I think is impressive and has a world of future going forward. His weight per day of age, I think he's impressive. I think he's built as good as any that we've seen today, and just looks like the kind that breeders can tie to going forward to just keep improving the cattle and keep getting more acceptable in the real world by stockmen, because there is plenty of values to these cattle. So let's give them one more round of applause. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's been a great show.
Champion exhibited by Brindley Sonnentag with Greenwood New Par 77N Reserve will go to back number 445. That was Allie Wright with Cross W Money 03M. We'd like to say a special thank you to our judge this afternoon, Mr. Tim Anderson. That does conclude our shows today here in the OG&E Coliseum.
Thank you for joining us for Cattleman's Congress. This has been a Walton Webcasting production. Livestock like you've never seen before.